Welcome. Pre-game show. UVA Miami. Short turnaround for UVA. We're at JPJ. Miami got I'm teed up. This is Locker Room Access pregame show. We got Have and Fresh online. What's up, fellas? How we
Dub,
feeling? How we
What's
feeling
up,
today?
T-Dub?
Good,
I,
man.
I like the quick turnaround. I like that for this team. We're playing well. A lot of guys are hitting on different cylinders. A lot of guys are showing up. So I like this. Just keep playing.
yeah, I agree with that. I think when you are playing well, the quick turnaround helps you. When you're playing poorly, it can hurt you really badly. So let's keep it flowing. I think there's a lot of confidence. Obviously, the home record is good. So it's not going to hurt us now. And as someone said on forum, it's kind of like good training for NCAA tournament.
Yeah, totally.
Good
It's
point.
it's.
There's
I,
Jenny.
I think of the national championship 2019 year. We had Duke on the Saturday, and then we had UNC on a Monday, and it's two tough matchups back to back, kind of like a Sweet 16, Elite Eight kind of vibe. So, not that this is probably more like first weekend, but still, let's see how the team fares on 1 day rest, prepare, play. I think it's great practice.
Yeah,
No doubt.
it feels like everybody's pretty healthy, right? Dante seems to be almost all the way back. I haven't heard of any real injury things that you get this time of year. So let's play.
And I think the flu that it was like the avian bird flu ravaged our team for a couple days, but
Yeah.
I think we're back. Should be out of our system. Everyone's feeling better.
Yeah, have you scouted Miami at all? It's right in your neck of the woods. Do you watch them a lot?
I mean, everything Miami is on down here, so I see them. Every night the Who's don't play that they play. I see them a lot. It's Miami as a city. There's a lot of it's glitz and glamour and all that. I watch him a little more because of Larinaga and his connection to UVA. But
Right.
hey, this is a really good team. They're 15-7 right now, 6-5 in the ACC. So we're just a couple games off from them. They're middle of the pack ACC. We're in second place, but it's only separated by a couple games. So it's an important game for us. It's
Huge game for us.
What's that?
I think it's a huge game for us.
It's a
We need
huge game for
momentum.
us. It's a bigger game for Miami because when you look at who's on their docket and who's ahead of them, like this, they're coming out guns blazing. They just beat Virginia Tech on Saturday, and they're going to be firing on all cylinders. And I don't know if I've ever seen a game. Well, that's not true. This is contrasting styles of play, right? We have an incredibly kind of controlled pace. We run things. They do the opposite. They basically play one-on-one with five guys. And I don't think that's a great strategy, but it can work for a game, and we got to make it work against them tonight.
And Larinaga,
Yeah, they're going to want to run. They don't want to go slow. I think we're going to really play ugly, slow it down tonight. That's my guess. We're going to combat them with that. It's a whiteout in JPJ. Hopefully it's packed. We're on a 6-game winning streak, 23, 22 at home in a row.
Yeah,
If we can get out of this stretch, man, and win all these games, that's enormous.
Yeah, with 6 in a row. First quad 1 win over Clemson last 2 days ago. So this is definitely a big one for us to pick up another quality win. And as Trav said, for Miami too, this is a chance for them to pick up a road game. I'm not sure if we're quite quad 1, but I guess on the road we are. So this is a big deal for them. So big game all the way around. I think Larinaga is a great coach. He scouts us well all the time. I always notice he knows when the matchup comes in. He knows when to force a hedge and make someone recover, and he knows when to run a pick and roll and all that. It's impressive. I'm expecting him to do that with Jordan Minor, force him out. no one's really done that yet. So I'm curious to see if he's gonna step on the gas on that front. What do you think, Av?
Hey, let's go through their players. They've got some studs, and they play a very different style than us. You start with Omier. I don't know how you say it. I've heard it 100 times, but he's basically 18-10 this year. Really good player, 6'7", 240. So he's the same size as Minor. Really good player. Shoots some threes at about a 40% clip. He's actually shooting, Dave pointed this out today, 47% in the ACC, and he draws a lot of fouls. And I think fouls today may play a significant role in the game. Whenever you have a really attacking team, a fast, athletic team that's just racing the ball at you, fouls can, come into play more so than they have in the past from us. We all remember Matthew Cleveland, the guy who chucked it in behind his back, over his head, through his legs when he was at Florida State. Yeah. He's averaging 15 and 6, shoots about 40% from three. Wooga Poplar, great name, 14 and 5, about 6'5". Bensley Joseph is a 6'2" guy. He's a shooter, not shooting great, 35%, which is good. And then, Keyshawn George is 6'8". He is a really good player. This is a matchup problem, I think, for us. You got multiple people that can guard multiple people on both sides. How is it going to shake out? We can get to that later, but I think foul trouble will come into play either on our guards because we're getting attacked, or maybe Jordan because Omier is hard to work with.
Yeah, I can see.
I think it's going to be a real test for Jordan tonight. I'm really interested to see how he responds to it, how he reacts. It's a grown man who's a really good player that he's got to deal with a lot of the night tonight. So I'm excited to see this.
Jim, I'm not picking Miami to win. Jim, I feel good tonight, Jim. It's rare. I had some Raisin Bran this morning. I got the fiber in my body. Everything is flowing nicely for me and the Who's tonight. That's what I'm saying right here.
I like it. Bill says, it seems to me that it seems better to have Monday night game at home after playing 2 days ago, but all depends on how you play and who you play.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not a quick trip. It's not that easy of a trip, right? I thought we were going to Miami for some reason. I'm like, what in the world was this on the schedule? Good to get back home. We're home. They had a long, decent flight, right? They'll get home at like 4 a.m. After that, does that play at anything? Probably not during the game, but it's all fun.
There were definitely times when Fresh and I played where we would have like a Duke Carolina 2 days later, and we would stay. And I always thought that was beneficial because when you travel, you get out of the 7 o'clock game. You probably don't get on the plane till about 10:30, 11. A 9 o'clock game, you're getting home at like 4 a.m. It was very disruptive. So whenever we stayed, I felt like that gave us an advantage. Obviously, that's not the case here. We came back, but we're playing good. I like the rhythm. I like the momentum. Think back a month ago, T-Dub.
Yeah.
Right? We were gross. The sky was falling and
it's dead in the water.
Dead in the water. What helped us was obvious. I mean, everyone knows, right? It's Jordan Minor came on. We're playing better. We're playing a little more freely. But we also had a very nice schedule to help us, to nurture us along that path of discovery. It gets harder pretty quick. So I'm glad we had that incubation period in the schedule to get a little bit better.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody today, and he made a good point. He said it better than I would have said it, but I've seen it. I feel like we have simplified things, right? We always talk in the first half part of the season. We're like, what are we doing on offense? We're like starting to start again. Like it looked like we were always looking to get something going or doing something, playing 4 different offensive sides, 5 out, blah blah blah, whatever they all call it. But we seem to be more concise. And Reese, I've noticed early in the season, Reese was going one-on-one much more because of the breakdowns. He's done that a lot less because things have, he's getting that, he's coming off the screen on that weird angle to the corner. They call it flattening out. And he has an option over there to shoot it or make a play there. They've done really well. So I think we've gotten a lot simpler, not trying to hedge everything, not trying to double everything, but picking our spots better. And I think the guys are more experienced and the staff less.
Yeah.
I think what's hard about this game is, when we talk about matchups, people always tend to say, oh, we got to guard a guy who's really big and PJ Hall and Baycott and all that. They got to guard us too. And that's, I think, why you've seen Groves really expand. But David asked a question about, when does Rhodey sit? I think that process has started. Tony has kept him in the starting lineup. He's playing a lot less. He's playing about 18 minutes a game the past 5 games, which is way down from his 30-minute average. I think if you average it out, he's at 27 minutes a game. This is a hard game for Wings. Really hard game. It's going to be hard for Rhodey defensively. It's going to be hard for Tane.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be hard for Isaac. Although I think they're going to put Isaac on the Joseph kid, who's not exceptionally attacking like the other guys. But man, they're sending guys in waves, and that's why I think someone brought it up. Are we going to see Elijah? If we get in foul trouble, Elijah will be in there, and I hope that happens, and I hope he plays really well. But this is a very athletic, freewheeling, fast team, and we are the exact opposite of that on just about every front.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Elijah. Perfect game.
Steve had a question. Have you all noticed
anything
improved or different with closeouts as the year has gone on? It seems like we are half a step slower versus prior years.
It's a good question.
What I've noticed with closeouts, and it might be new guys in the system, but it always looked to me like a lot of the guys were practicing closeouts. They weren't closing out. When you do it in practice, right? You over exaggerate the closeout and chop your feet and put your hands up.
Yep.
Especially I noticed with Leon a lot, and maybe Rhodey. Reese is such a master at being able to get halfway there and cheat, and his arms and his length, and the guy's afraid of him probably anyway. And obviously Ryan Dunn is just on the road. But I felt like early in the season that guys were practicing, doing what they think coaches want to see to get more time. I think it's become a little more natural. What I do harp on is when the ball's in the corner, and obviously the guy guarding somebody in the other corner is way too far across the lane for help side. It's not in the middle of the lane. He's a full step, and we've gotten burnt on that twice. One by Big Daddy in NC State, and the last game it happened to be Rhodey, but we've gotten burnt on those, and especially when they're being double teamed in the corners. Just get back to your man. Guys double team.
Yeah, I agree with it. I agree with Fresh, but I'll say this: I think closeouts are a lot different in today's game than they were even 5 years ago. The closeouts.
Mm-hmm.
Are not bothering shooters as much. Guys play so many games, in high school, AAU, summers, that, I like a controlled test better. I still remember we all remember the Zion Williamson block on DeAndre where he wasn't closing out.
No,
he came out to block.
He just
that
came
stuff.
together.
I like, and that's Zion Williamson, a one of a kind type player. I like more of a contest than a closeout. The closeout is you're still open, and the guy can box you out, and maybe a guy from the corner hits the front rim and it comes back, but that doesn't happen much. I want to see more aggressive challenges, guys in the face, up there where the guy, it's barely over his hand when he shoots.
I like it.
That I think is a much harder shot than a controlled closeout, but that's what we do.
As you know, all defenders are not created equal, right? The Ryan Dunn closeout's a lot different than Doug Smith closeout, for example. Not too many people were afraid of me coming to get their shot or closing out. I try to get it down low. I wouldn't go high. I try to just hope.
Fresh, both of your shot blocks in college were spectacular, by the way. Both of them. They were awesome.
You know what the truth is? There was only one.
Okay.
At William and Mary, in that overtime game that we did win, and they called a foul. I'm very close to getting a technical foul on that because I did not foul him. I got at least 4 inches off the floor half, and I went and smacked somebody's shit and threw it out of there, and they called a foul on it.
We got to get like a
Literally,
player tracker.
I had one.
Yeah, well, we got to get
the air block.
We got to get the player tracker to show Zion jumping like 19 feet in the air, and you went like, I swear to God, you were warm, and you were at least like 4.5 feet on that. I still remember it. It was spectacular.
Could you imagine if you're in the front row seat when Zion is just flying at him though? Like if he's just, it took him pretty far, right? Imagine.
Ryan has that ability, right? Elijah probably has that ability. I think A-Rob probably has that ability. But I don't think closeout.
Elijah, when he played, was getting a lot of blocks.
What?
Elijah, when he was playing earlier against not his ACC teams, he had a couple of blocks on the perimeter. You don't see that very much. Guys flying at him and getting the shot. Dante had 2 really good ones.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan closed out on the final shot against Clemson. That was great. Like he
did.
Yeah, he helped, and then he kind of recovered and at least contested the shot at the end there.
Yeah, that was questionable execution by Clemson, but we escaped. There's nothing like being on the road, having the ACC, and you escape that way. You just kind of laugh and run off the court. You really feel like you
got one.
You got escape.
We were fortuitous that didn't go in. The guy that you wanted to take the shot took the shot. It was a good shot. It was in rhythm. Whenever a guy's in rhythm, and you see it on our team and other teams, when they're in rhythm and they really catch it and get their legs into it and they're going the right way, those shots go down. So I was obviously happy to see that shot did not go down, but it was a good look at the end of the game.
Jim said Larinaga compared Tech to our pack line. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I read that in forum. I don't know if it was Larinaga or it was Corey. I mean, obviously very different. I mean, we built a national reputation on our pack line defense, and maybe they're packing it in. Like, I don't watch enough of Bass Tech to know, if they're really running a true pack line, but that's like saying like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito are both bodybuilders. It's not even close.
Another apparently
are we letting Bill
with her guys?
Oh yeah, full strength. I mean,
I haven't seen him play this year. I don't know a lot of names.
I have seen them play. They're really good. You're going to be shocked at they don't really even run like dribble handoffs or high screens. It's like a lot of one-on-one. And I think Larinaga says, go make a play, draw a guy and kick it. They all have the green light. Everybody shoots it. They're very, very free, which, as we know, can hurt us if they're hot, and if they're not, we'll win easily. But it's not a intricate offense to scout. It's sort of like stay in front of your man, test the shot, don't get beat off the dribble. And they have a lot of guys. Nigel Pack he's a beast. 15-4 this year, shooting about just under 40% from 3. That guy can play. He's athletic. He's a tough guard. And I know Reese will be on him. I think he'll be on him. The big question I have is who's going to start tonight? Rhodey did not start the second half of Clemson game. Is he going to be? Are we sticking with the starters, or do we go a little bit bigger and pull the stretch? The stretch. Pull Groves in, who's going to stretch people out. They want to go small. They're going to go small. And do we stay big to like make them guard, or do we go small too? That's the question.
WFS.
Yeah, that's
same lineup.
We
have
guys for it, so we'll see who's hot for them, who's not hot, or how it plays out. Right? Are we just gonna let Bill's comment about Kay Clark having more blocks than Fresh just go undiscussed? Have here?
Wait, who did it?
Bill said Kay Clark may have had more blocks than Fresh. If he had more than 0, he had more blocks. Unless we're talking about Caitlin Clark from the Iowa Hawkeyes. She probably has 100.
Chris West had Miami can shoot from the 3-point line. If you stop that, we can win by double digits.
Yeah, man, they're gonna let it fly. Like I've watched 3 or 4 games of Miami. Their shot selection is exactly what Tony does not want, and it's exactly what Larinaga does want. They are they're swerving all over the road in a sports car, and we're in a stagecoach or a moped, kind of whipping the horse to go. So it's contrasting styles. I like we're at home. I like we've played well. I like Graves staying hot tonight. I think they're going to key on him. If a guy has a couple big games in a row, he's definitely, a big part of the scouting report. So I think they're going to be tight on him. Maybe that opens it up a little bit more for Reese and IMAC. And I wouldn't be surprised if Rody or Tane has a big game tonight, because they're not keying on those guys. And when defenses key on you, that's different than when you're a secondary or third type option. And Groves has played so well, in the last week, that he's firmly atop the scouting report. Don't let this guy hit 6 threes.
Yeah, Rody. Go ahead, Fresh.
No, you're saying talking about Groves. Sorry, man. When you start playing at such a high level like that, like we saw with Blake early in the season, right? He was playing at such a it's really hard to sustain, but you feed him, dude. Like in my mind, he's got 7. He can go over 7 and still keep shooting, because he's 65% the last 2 or 3 games or whatever it is. You just keep beating him and getting him looks. They ran that great play for him. Where Reese hit him. I think Isaac maybe back screen for him. He faded, pump fake, the little rhythm dribble. It's just coming off of his hands so well, so nice right now. He's tough when it's a tough matchup when he's out there on the wing playing that one.
And what I liked, he had 2 plays where he pumped and he went into the lane, drew some contact, and hit a floater. I'm like, that's a big change from what we've seen him do in the past. Like, he finished those, whereas earlier in the year, I think he hesitated a lot with that sort of play. But I'm really, his confidence seems to be up. So let's hope he can keep it up. I imagine being at home is going to help a lot.
I mean, he's played. Jake has played in big time settings, man. He played at Oklahoma. Those games out there, like, we don't always watch all of them, whatever. There's some hostile environments on the road, right? So he's played in them. He's not seeing anything from opposing crowds he hasn't seen before. I like the Dante comment. Right.
Yeah, I do too.
We better get Chance Mallory is the comment I see here from.
Hey, Fresh,
I'll be down there.
Let's go back to Dante.
Dante?
Yep,
All right.
yep.
Let's go back to Dante, because Steve brings up a good point. Dante has not shot well, but there's a pace to his play that is similar to how Miami plays. I feel like that's how he wants to play, and I feel like he's trying to figure out how he can impact the game playing at the pace he wants to play versus the pace that Tony wants him to play. Fresh as a guard, how do you balance that, and what do you think we see from Dante tonight? Is he going to be a big piece?
Dante's one of those guys, man, and we've all played with him and we talked about it. He just knows one speed. He's just hyper fast and quick, and he just wants to get it. What I love about Dante's game, he's the only guy on our team that will throw a cross-court chest pass into somebody's shooting pocket quickly and decisively, and not back up, not back away, not probe, not look, and just make these quick passes. He's A to B, right? A to B, B to C, C to D. There's times for that, and I think it can be very effective, because we play so methodically. The other team can just kind of prepare for it. They're used to it. When he comes in and changes the pace, whether he has great results statistically or not, I think it's still really. I think it's very valuable for us. He's a very different, unique kind of guy. Did I answer the question right? Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's been Jim's question: what wins the game for us tonight? Well, why don't we do that? We'll finish it up with predictions too. What you want to start? Have
Yeah, sure. So when we win the turnover battle and rebound, we're like 12-2 or 16-2 when we win the rebound battle, and we're 12-2 when we win the other way around. Sorry, turnover battle and rebounding are key. We've done that, and we've won, a lot of games in January doing that, and some earlier in the year. I don't really count the early games because they're against inferior opponents, but like we've been really good. If you go back a couple months, rebounding was an issue for us. We're getting out rebounded and beat pretty handily. So if we win both of those, Miami has tried to prepare for us. They had a short week too. They played Saturday against Bass Tech, and they had to travel. So it's gonna be hard for them to play against our defense. They attack so much. I do think foul trouble will be, to answer the question, what's the key? Staying out of foul trouble and keeping our best players on the floor and not having to go into unusual and different lineups that we're not used to playing together.
prediction?
Yep. Miami was at Bass Tech on Saturday,
Yeah.
so you got to assume they just came straight up here, right? Straight up to Seaville. They didn't go back.
Oh, I don't know. No, it was in Miami, but they played Virginia Tech and they won 82-74. They won.
Right. I think Jordan Mine is going to be a big key, man, and what Blake can do, and it's not a bad game for like Leon Bond defensively. He's really has his struggles on the offensive end, but vis-a-vis who is replacing, whether it's different guys except for Jake, the way he's been shooting, it's not taking them a shot of it. And they're not giants, right? It's not Florida State where it's 7
Small ball.
7 footer. He can make a difference in spurts defensively. So I think it's our bench, to be quite frank, how we rotations and how the bench guys contribute for us to support the kind of starters.
So T-Dub, I'm going, and I'll write them down. I'm going 65-58 Who's.
No way.
Fresh? What do you got, Fresh?
I wanted to be 65.5 to 60. I saw the game was supposed to win by 5.5. I was going to say the exact 66-60 with I got to change it.
You can pick whatever you want. 60, what do you want? 65-60?
66-60. Virginia Cavaliers.
Okay.
I'm going 72-68 Who's. I'm a little worried about how we respond when it goes on the inevitable run and we have a little drought. But I think being home really helps us. So I'm thinking we're going to pull out a barn burner.
Have we had those droughts lately? It just seems like a different guy, like different players stepped up in those situations, man. It's not.
We have not had the excruciating, long, awful marathon droughts that we've experienced in the past. In fact, Clemson went on one of them in our game against them. So we've been able to stop it at like a couple minutes instead of going like 6 minutes with 2 points.
Hilton
with 82. Let's go.
Oh wow! Offensive explosion.
Chris West.
There we go.
62-57. I like it.
We're all crowded around that.
All right, looks like it's tip off. We'll see you. Are we gonna do half or do we just do post game? What do you guys think?
Let's do half.
All right, we'll see everybody in the half.
Who's back,
Go Who's.
Ooh.
Go Who's.